Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. The list is already filling up nicely, which is great. So today is our third webinar of the monthly series. Today we're going to be speaking to a leader in the fresh produce industry. I'm Ali Edwards. I've been at KisanHub now coming up to 4 years. I've got a fairly practical farming background myself. During that time, I have been working with companies such as Paul. I was head of customer success, and now I'm leading up, the account management. Paul, it'd be great if you can just introduce yourself.
My name's Paul Sneyd. I work for the Jupiter Group. Been in agriculture, horticulture, fresh produce probably for the last 15 years. Over the last 12 months, I've been working with the Jupiter Group as their grower manager. And there's two elements to my role, really. One of those is I'm responsible for a project out in India where we are embarking on planting 5,000 acres of table grapes with our partner out there called Sahadri Farms. And the other role is managing our global growers and supporting procurement in that, both in terms of recruitment and then supporting their growers, both from in terms of agronomy, technical, and also just general communication about what we're trying to do as a group and where we're trying to go. So that just gives you a little bit of an overview of Paul Sneyd and where I am and what I'm doing today.
Thank you for that, Paul. I was actually lucky enough to go out to one of the farms that the Jupiter Group work with and have been producing from. So I was lucky enough to go to South Africa last year. So I saw some fantastic insights on how the platform was being used there, but also the farming practices out in South Africa. So Paul, in terms of the tools and processes that Jupiter have been implementing, to enhance your growers, how do you think these insights will help your production at Jupiter, but also be able to help that onto your customers?
Obviously, tools and processes in the times that we've been we've sort of had and had those challenges. The data has become massively important, and we really see the benefit of that, and hence why installing KisanHub to be able to manage our growers on a global basis. That's not about micromanaging them, but that is about managing them at a level where we have the data in terms of, where the fields are, the plots. Certainly in India, where we've got to record everything we're doing to report back to GRAPA, who we have the sole license for out in India as part of our reporting process. It's understanding what those growers are doing. And the great thing that KisanHub has been able to give us is in allowing us that we can upload pictures. So that's been massively important, and the videos that have been able to be uploaded as well, what the growers are doing individually. That then can report back into our agronomists, so our agronomists can look at that. They also have got the data there to work with the guys on the ground from Sahadri, our partners out there, which meant that, the agronomy support has not stopped. And that's become really paramount, that without having something like that in place, it's massively important. And I think as we move forward as well, it's the demands of the customer and the consumer, and how they view food and how they view their purchasing habits moving forward. We're very big about having that transparency between seed and shelf, and all the way along that chain that both the consumer, the grower, our customer, they can all see what's happening. We're doing it in a sustainable way. The well-being of the people within that chain, we have that at the forefront as well of what we're doing. That then will hopefully give greater confidence to what we're doing, what we're about. It'll give brand integrity as well. So it'll strengthen our brand, and it'll be trusted out there as well. So all those sorts of things are what we're really looking at, and also feel is just paramount in what we try to do. And as we continue to sort of grapple with COVID and the challenges that brings, having that sight of that data and that full supply chain is just imperative to us.
I think it's so important. You see, more and more these days about how data really drive so many decisions. So yeah, it's fantastic to hear that obviously what we're doing with KisanHub and what you've implemented, is really helping and benefiting yourself. How have Jupiter adapted during the pandemic, and what have been the key learnings that other businesses could take away?
Some of the things that we quickly had to do was protect our workforce and change how we'd probably been used to working in the past. Some of those things were, as people came into the pack house, making sure that everyone entering, their temperature was taken by an infrared non-contact thermometers. And then from a PPE point of view, making sure that we got plenty of plastic visors, gloves, and all the other associated things. Within the offices, we changed the air filtration system to that use UV light to kill viruses and bugs. Also, from the well-being of employees as well, making sure that they had available daily fresh fruit. One of the things that we did do and continue to do is making sure that we were communicating to our workforce, to employees on a regular basis, and we did that daily. We've got a global workforce, so it was really paramount. We're very conscious about communicating not only what we were doing back in the UK, but making sure that they were fully aware of what their governments in their own country were saying and doing as well. And we felt that was really important. We didn't want people to feel isolated at home as well. So we've been doing wellbeing sessions on every Tuesday, whether that be yoga or sort of stretch and strength that you can do at your desk, but at least it was getting people to then engage with other people within the business. But I go back to the paramount thing is just been making sure that people have felt that they've got the support, even though they're isolated either in different countries or at home by themselves.
Great stuff, Paul. No, that sounds very interesting, and perhaps post the pandemic, you can show me some of your yoga moves in person. I'd quite like to see how you're getting on there. So, Paul, where do you see the Jupiter Group see the innovation coming from within the supply chain, and how do you think that will benefit you going forward over the next 5 to 10 or even into the next 20 years?
In terms of innovation, and certainly technical innovation, and by that I mean data and how we use that data, it's just going to be a massive driver in terms of businesses moving forward. Just in terms of our own production on our own farms, it's about how far we can go in terms of automation, how far in terms of we can drive that automation, and being able to react quicker to the growing demands of the consumer and be aware of that, and I think in not too many years, will we be looking at just in time, just like in the automotive industry, and how we deliver the food. Do we move away from central distribution centres? Is this something that we start to look at sourcing more locally? Obviously, the demands of the consumer, they want things all the year round, so that's pretty challenging within itself. But certainly being able to deliver straight from grower straight into store, I think that will be driven far harder than perhaps what it has been.
No, that's really, really great insight there. Thanks for that, Paul. I think, looking at, talking of coronavirus and the pandemic that we're in, really seeing how, like click and collect from supermarkets, everything like that, it just shows the importance of, growing and how that will reach our, end consumers' gates or even on their plate. It'd be fantastic to see that, and be a very interesting few months coming up, post this, to see all the benefits that everything will bring, going straight from the field straight to fork.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, Paul, thank you. I've definitely learned a lot there, as I'm sure everybody else has on the call. So thank you. First of all, I'd like to just say thank you, Paul, so much for taking this webinar and the connection that we've got from working together over the last year. It's been great to interview you and hear your insights from COVID-19 and how Jupiter have handled it. So really insightful there. If anybody does have any other questions or wants to know a bit more about what we do, then please feel free to contact me directly at ali@kisanhub.com. For the next webinar, we're going to be discussing the agri-food supply chain. So this is going to be hosted by our CEO, Dr. Satun Shende. That will be on the 21st of August at 4 p.m. And finally, from myself and from Paul, thank you very much for joining, and we hope to see you all virtually soon.
Thank you all. Take care.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.